All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Again, my name is Brandon Doyle, and I am the marketing manager here at Blue Corona. Today, we're joined by Alex Moser, Blue Corona's Director of Account Development.
Hey, Brandon. Thanks so much. Can you hear me okay?
I can. Thank you.
Perfect.
So we're here to talk with everyone today about customer service training, or as we like to call it here at Blue Corona, smart selling. And during this webinar, we'll dive into how improving your customer service representatives' habits, establishing best practices, and continued education can really have quite an impact on your company's bottom line. Later in today's webinar, you'll also hear from Eric Borkowski, General Manager at Ehlers Heating and Air Conditioning, about the impact smart selling has had on his business. How are you today, Eric?
I'm doing great, Brandon. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. So everyone, before we get started here, I want to get a couple administrative pieces out of the way. So throughout today's webinar, in case you have any questions, feel free to go ahead and click the little triangle next to questions in your GoToWebinar panel and type in your question at any time directly in that box below. At the end of the webinar, we'll do our best to answer all questions. And of course, if you still have any follow-up questions afterwards, we recommend going ahead and reaching out to your account manager here at Blue Corona, and they'll be happy to answer any questions or any follow-up items you have. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started. So Alex, the floor is yours. Take it away.
Thanks, Brandon. Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining today's webinar. I'm excited to talk to you today about how you can grow your business with smart selling. So a quick agenda. I'm just going to talk about the history of smart selling, why we decided to start this program in the first place. Next, what it is, like what goes into smart selling. And then finally, we're going to talk to Eric, like Brandon mentioned earlier. Eric at Ehlers Heating and Air Conditioning. They're one of our clients who invest in smart selling. Okay, so as everybody knows, our goal at Blue Corona is to help our clients' companies grow. We're obviously a full-service digital marketing company, and we focus on generating leads and helping our clients differentiate their brand online. We've been investing in call tracking since day one of Blue Corona, and originally the purpose of investing in call tracking was to see how well our clients' marketing and advertising campaigns were performing. You know, each and every call is recorded and then listened to by a real person who determines if the call is a lead or non-lead, you know, a missed call or a solicitor or a job seeker or whatever. And we use that data in our reports to show how various campaigns are working or not. And time after time, clients would say to us, you know, I notice I'm getting a lot of leads, but a large percentage of them are not booking into appointments. What's happening with that? Can you help? Can you look into that? Of course, we'd been listening to all the calls, and several years ago, we had listened to 1 million inbound calls at this point. We had the answers to those questions, and very often the answers to those questions were not easy to hear. You know, many times there were glaring issues, glaring missed opportunities with these calls where the customer service reps at our clients' companies didn't understand, you know, the caller's requests. And by caller, I mean the prospective customer. Or the customer service reps didn't answer the right questions, or they just dropped the ball. Sometimes they were rude, or they didn't even ask to book an appointment. They didn't get the caller's contact info. So from there, we said, okay, we're helping our clients get more leads from the web. They're spending all this money to improve their presence online to get more leads. Then these leads are going right back out the door as soon as they call our clients. So we said we got to help. That's how smart selling, the customer service rep training program, was born. I know for many of you who are clients of ours, we've talked about the sales funnel over and over again in the past. We're normally talking about, you know, you want to invest in digital marketing to get more eyeballs, more impressions online, and we want to get a certain percentage of those to turn into visits to get to our website, and a certain percentage of those website visits turn into leads, right? Today we're talking about one more step down in the funnel, the customer service representative team, the people who are taking those inbound leads, the phone calls you're getting to your business and hopefully turning them into appointments, right? With the right training, your team can become better equipped to handle those inbound leads and turn a higher percentage of them into appointments and then sales, ongoing revenue for your company. Okay, so let's talk about what goes into smart selling. What is it? So smart selling, it's a one-on-one training program where we're teaching your customer service representatives or anybody else on your team that interacts with your customers, your prospective customers, how to improve their customer service, the experience they're creating for your prospective customers. And when applicable, how to improve the booking rate, how to book more appointments on that first call for a prospective customer. So why is customer service so important when interacting with your customers? Number one, you gain more customers by teaching your team how to book more appointments, right? If you can just improve that booking rate, you get more appointments, get more sales, more customers. Number two, you retain more customers by being their go-to company. When a customer or prospective customer has a need, if they have a great experience with you guys, they're much more likely to come back to your company rather than saying, you know what, their customer service was no good, I'm going to try something new. And they go back to Google to look for a different company next time they have the same need. So the goal is to create loyal customers, lasting relationships with your customers. The benefit of loyal customers is on average, the benefit of loyal customers is on average that, loyal customers are worth up to 10 times as much as their first purchase. When you make a customer feel valued and build a connection with them, they're more likely to call you back the next time they need a service on their furnace, like in Eric's case, Eric, who you'll be hearing from soon, or insulation for a new project, or to fix a clogged drain, or, whatever it is. Not to mention, if you provide a great customer experience, you'll have those customers telling their friends who are also eventually going to be in need of your product or service what a great experience they had with your company. So in addition to, additional sales down the road, you also get referrals from happy customers who've had a great experience with your company. So at this point, we've listened to 3.5 million, which is crazy, 3.5 million inbound calls and counting. We're not done. And so we've used the insights we've gained from listening to all these calls and these situations and challenges to help improve our clients' customer service. So there are 3 parts of smart selling. I'm going to walk through them really quickly. First is the customer service training itself. Second is consulting around that training and around the process. And finally is employee engagement. So first, with the customer service training, we're teaching your team how to navigate the phone call with your navigate that phone call, the inbound calls that they're getting from your prospective customers. So the trainings are one-on-one with a smart selling coach and a customer service rep from your team, and they're typically every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks is really what we think should be the minimum. We try not to, or we really don't want to do it as little as monthly, just because repetition is what leads to great results. So at least every 2 weeks. The first training is usually about an hour. We spend a little more time getting to know the customer service rep and introducing them to the training. And then the subsequent trainings are typically 30 minutes each. We cover aspects of our curriculum, and then we listen to a recorded call together. So you have Joe is a customer service rep. We listen to one of Joe's calls in our training. And then we're helping Joe really discover for himself, what he did on that call, discover how he sounds on the phone with a customer. A lot of times it's just listening to themselves speak. The light bulb goes off and they understand how there are opportunities to improve. So during these ongoing trainings, we're doing a few different things. First, we're creating individual call handling strategies for your team. So each person on your team has different strengths and weaknesses, which we typically call opportunities to improve rather than weaknesses. But we want to highlight the areas where your customer service rep is doing great and also the areas that they could improve upon. Next, we provide ongoing coaching and support. So with the coaching, we really are creating a positive environment, and we're encouraging the customer service reps to form good habits. And we also spend time celebrating the wins, celebrating their successes. We're focusing on creating a world-class customer experience. We hold ourselves, but we also want the clients to hold them, not the clients, the customer service reps. We want the customer service reps to hold themselves to a high standard when speaking with your customers and your prospective customers. We want them to understand that they are the voice of your company. They're sometimes the first impression, many times the first impression, and sometimes the only impression the customer will have of your company. So we want to create that world-class customer experience. And of course, we want to teach them how to book more appointments, right? So your customer service rep team, they're not just message takers. They have the ability to essentially sell your customer on your products and services. And so we're teaching them the skills that they need to build value and get a commitment from the prospective customer. During the consulting portion of the training, we're focusing on advising, the management team, whether it's the customer service team lead or the owner of the company, or whoever manages or leads the customer service reps. We're working with them to help them identify gaps in the phone handling process. For example, does everyone who needs to have access to the scheduling system have it? You'd be surprised, in many cases they don't, and that's identified through this process, through the smart selling, consulting process. Does everyone, or is everyone on your customer service rep team aware of the process for scheduling appointments? Or is there somebody on the team that's kind of a roadblock for getting a commitment to a customer? One of our big successes from this was a heating and air conditioning company we worked with. They weren't booking any of their HVAC system replacement leads. So, there's repair and service, and then there's replacing an entire system. After we talked to the customer service rep team about what was going on, we found out they were afraid to book the appointment for those replacement leads because the sales rep liked to control his own calendar. But this, it's a huge issue because what was happening was the customer service reps were taking a message and saying that that sales rep would call the customers back. But as we all know, many times, if you need a new HVAC system and you need it ASAP, you are probably on Google looking for a heating and air conditioning company. And if the customer service rep says, yeah, we'll have somebody call you back, if he doesn't call back almost immediately, you're probably still on Google looking for the next company on the list, right? So after we brought that up to the owner of the company and the customer service rep team lead, they were able to address it internally, with their sales reps. And that turned into opening up the schedule so that everybody answering the phone could actually book the appointments, which of course resulted in more installation, HVAC replacement sales. We've also identified opportunities for more industry, or we do identify opportunities for more industry training. One customer service rep we worked with in the plumbing industry was nervous to ask the customer questions about their clogged drains because they didn't understand the different types of backups. So, that kind of came out in our training, and therefore we ended up, getting them to meet with a technician in the sewer department so they could learn more about the different types of backups. And then, of course, that led to bigger opportunities and setting up the plumber for more success in his appointment. Another part of the consulting is assessing your team's performance. So many times these trainings are really helping bring out the best in people. Those who are willing to learn and create new habits do become huge assets for for the company, your company. So when we see somebody excelling, we of course take the time to recommend, to share that with the management team, or recommend that it looks like they could take on more responsibility because of how committed they are to the Smart Selling program and how committed they are to improving. The next piece is employee engagement. So you're investing in your team with the Smart Selling program, and therefore their attitude and engagement in the Smart Selling program is important. So during these trainings, the customer service reps do begin to realize why their job is so important, and the impact they're having on your customers. So I would say the three aspects of employee engagement, of the employee engagement piece, are number one is commitment to goals. So the customer service reps aren't going to change their habits if they're not committed to their goals, right? So we make sure to keep you informed on whether your customer service reps are taking the training seriously and trying to improve. Next, their attitude towards your company. So just like positivity is contagious, so is negativity. And we want to help you address any issues before they become bigger problems or spread to other members of the team. So as an example, one company we work with, they had a customer service rep who was ready to quit because she told us in these trainings, she told her Smart Selling coach that she felt unsupported and like bogged down by her workload. So we then brought that to the management team's attention, and they addressed it internally. And now a year later, she's still at the company, still doing Smart Selling with us, still doing these trainings. And she's performing much better and is happier. You can tell on her calls, and she's just a much more satisfied contributor to the company. So again, the attitude towards the company is also, it's a huge piece of the employee engagement part. And finally, how the customer service reps are treating the customers. Of course, we want to make sure that everyone has the approach that we are here because of the customers. We wouldn't have a job if we didn't have customers, right? So our goal in customer service isn't to rush off the phone or look at calls as an interruption in your day, right? You are the first touch point in many cases for the prospective customer with the company. So it's important to value those interactions with customers and prospective customers. And if this approach is met with any sort of resistance, of course, we let the customer service rep team lead know that as well. Okay, so we walked through the history and quick overview of what Smart Selling is. Now I'd like to introduce Eric Borkowski, who is the general manager of Ehlers Heating and Air Conditioning in Michigan. Eric, thanks so much for joining us today.
Hi, Alex. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Okay, so real quick, can you tell me a little bit about your business?
Yeah, sure. So Ehlers is a heating and air conditioning company. We serve clients in Southeast Michigan, combination of residential and commercial, and we're currently hovering right around $3.5 million a year.
Fantastic. Okay, so when did you start the Smart Selling program with Blue Corona?
We started the Smart Selling program 3 years ago.
Okay, and why were you interested in Smart Selling? Like what problems were you having that led you to our training program?
So, what sparked my interest in it was one of the main reasons is we were looking to increase the customer service experience overall at Ehlers. For years, we've spent time and money on technical training for all of the field technicians to make sure that their skills were up to par and they were constantly increasing their skills. And, we, like I think a lot of other companies do that are in the customer service business, we ignored and didn't invest in our CSRs. The trouble with that is the CSRs are your first point of contact with the company. A customer calls into the company and they want to schedule a call, whether it be a repair or installation estimate. That's who they're going to speak to first. And the CSR can either provide a first positive or negative, first impression with the company. And one day I found myself calling into the office, and it was just very kind of blah. I was actually kind of disappointed with it. And I thought to myself, I'm like, man, if I called this company, I don't think I would be happy or looking forward to having someone come out. So, being that we were working with Blue Corona, and I found out about smart selling, and, that's why I decided to check further into it.
Great. Thank you so much for all of that. So do you remember how you got started with smart selling? Like, how did the program kick off?
Yeah, so it kicked off. I spoke with our account manager at the time, and she went through the program and the way it worked. And we had 2 CSRs start with the program. That's all we had back then because the company was smaller than we've grown since then. But we started with 2 at the time. They enrolled in the program. They enjoyed it. We now currently have 4.5 CSRs enrolled in it, and I say 4.5 because one of them she's part time. She's here 3 days a week. So yeah, right now we got 4.5 enrolled.
Great. Okay, and can you talk about the results you've seen so far? The successes you've had.
Yeah. So as far as the successes, I can tell you personal feedback. What I've heard is our customers will tell me, wow, the women in the office are really nice on the phone. I can't believe how friendly they all are all the time. Which is good to hear because when someone's calling you and they want to spend money, they should be treated well.
Right.
On average, our service call booking, we're averaging 88 to 90%, which I feel is really good.
Incredible. Yeah.
The installation estimates we're booking at 99% all day long. One thing that has changed dramatically is the maintenance program that we offer is now offered on every call. Before, it may have been offered if they remembered, or, maybe someone was too, I don't want to say scared, but apprehensive about offering it. And now they offer it on every call. 9 out of 10 of our programs are sold in the office before the tech even reaches the home.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's fantastic. That they do really, really well with it. We've increased, back from when we started 3 years ago, we had roughly around 100 maintenance customers. We're at 975 today in 3 years.
Amazing.
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
What's even better is I can directly relate the maintenance program growth to roughly 1.2 million in additional sales through installations.
Oh my gosh. So you're saying the ROI is there?
It's there. Without a doubt, yeah. It's there.
That's great. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. Well,
no problem.
Why? I mean, I think I already got the answer to this question, but I'll ask it. Why do you think the smart selling program is so important or valuable?
Well, aside from the sales numbers, it's the way to grow your business. Without a doubt, you increase the customer service experience, you're going to increase the volume of business, you're going to grow the business. Sometimes it's hard to remember, but, the company works as a team, so you have to provide training for field technicians, office staff, everyone, sales staff, everyone needs to do continuous training in order to improve. If your employees improve, the business improves, and then the sales improve. Right.
Couldn't agree more. Well, thank you. Anything else before we wrap it up? Any final thoughts?
Yeah, a couple final thoughts. If you're even questioning in it, I would say without a doubt, contact your account manager over at Blue Corona. Get more information on it for sure. I am always available if you want to reach out to Alex, if you want additional information, if you want to talk to me personally through what we've experienced in our time on the program. I can tell you it's very, very valuable for us as a company. So if I can be of assistance with anyone at all, feel free to reach out and I'll help you however I can.
Eric, you're the best. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
No problem.
And yeah, I'm Alex at bluecorona.com. So if anybody wants to be connected with Eric, just send me a note and I will connect you. Thanks, Eric.
Sure, you're welcome.
Appreciate you joining today.
With
thanks
that, for having me.
Yeah, thank you. Again, Alex at bluecorona.com if you want me to connect you with Eric. Now I'll go ahead and open up the floor for any questions. And I think Brandon has the questions for me.
I do, Alex. So we do have a couple questions here, and like I mentioned at the beginning of the webinar, if anyone in attendance today does have any questions, go ahead and click that little triangle next to where it says questions in your GoToWebinar panel. Go ahead and type in your question in that box below, and we'll address it. But in the meantime, while those trickle in, we do have some. So first question, do I have to enroll all of my customer service reps, or can I pick and choose?
That's a good question. No, you do not have to enroll everybody. You could start with just a few customer service reps. I'd say we always like to start with at least 2 or 3 rather than just 1. And the only reason for that is because we want to see if smart selling is a fit for your company. And sometimes if you choose just 1 customer service rep, either that person may not be as bought in as the other customer service reps, or and it just might not be as good of a test. So we like to start with at least 2 or 3. No, you don't have to start with your whole team.
All right, Alex. Is the program flexible?
Absolutely. I assume you probably mean in terms of how often the trainings are. I'm going to go with that definition of that question. Yes, they're flexible. So typically the trainings are 30 minutes every 2 weeks, or twice a month. We don't like to back the trainings down to once a month or less often, just because it's not as much repetition. We feel like when you're learning something new, you want to review it more often than once a month. So we do have some clients who do it once a week. It just depends on your customer service reps team's schedule, but I'd say at least twice a month is ideal. 3, 4, 5 times a month, we can absolutely accommodate that too.
All right, and last question, assuming no others come in. Alex, for you, how much does it cost?
Oh, that's a good question. I guess, it depends on how often and how long you want the trainings to last. Again, typically they're twice a month, 30-minute trainings, and that's $300 per month per customer service rep. If you want a more customized program, just reach out to your account manager.
All right. Thank you, Alex. That looks like it wraps up all of our questions. So one last thing before we let everyone go today. Again, we want to thank you for being not only Blue Corona clients, but taking time out of your busy day to meet with us today and discuss smart selling. So as Alex mentioned, if you do have any follow-up questions or questions you think of as you go about the rest of your day, feel free to give your account manager a call or shoot them an email, and they'll be happy to answer any questions you do have.
Real quick, I was just going to say, if you want to be connected with Eric, just send me an email, alex@bluecorona.com. Thank you guys for your time today.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.